One of the things you'll be most remembered for, I think, is Expo. Tell people how you got to be there,
yes,
how it
yes.
was.
Expo 88 was the most wonderful part of my life, the best and hardest part of my life. I was in Canberra, and the Prime Minister of the day said to me, it was just after I had lost my leadership, and he said, "What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm going back to medicine." And he said, this is Hawke, of course, he said, "Would you mind doing a little job for me? Because I don't believe an Expo, whilst it was in Queensland and underwritten by the Queensland government, was under responsibility legally and internationally was under the federal government." And he said, "There's nobody in Queensland," and I say this humbly, "there's nobody in Queensland that I could trust there with Joe as Premier and building an Expo that could be the nation's Expo." And so I said, "Let me think about that." And then when I got back here, there was a message for me to ring the Premier, and I thought, "God, he's heard already." So I rang the Premier, and they said he wanted to see me urgently, and so I went in, and he said, and I don't know the background of how Joe knew and asked me exactly the same question a couple of hours after Hawke, so I think that Hawke may have put the pressure on him that he wanted me there and I could work with Joe. And so Joe said, "Come in, I want to see you straight away." Straight away. And he said, "I wonder if you'd take over this Expo thing." He said, "I don't know what we're going to do. I didn't upset the land." It was just a figment of everybody's imagination. And I was going back to medicine. I said I had enrolled for a refresher course and so forth. And then he said, "And also, I want you to go on that Senate of whatever they call it. Is it Senate? Is that what they call it? Out there at the university." He said, "They're all lefties out there, and he said, street marches," and went on and on. And I said, "I'd be absolutely honoured." No thought of ever becoming Chancellor, of course. And that's how it happened, as simple as that. And both, I think, have given me more pleasure than anything else in my life. But Expo was an unbelievable experience. But we had, in those days, I would never be able to get the federal or state parliament to give us laws that gave me, as the chairman, as power to be able to walk in on 9 o'clock one morning, 3 weeks after I was appointed, when the government had decided, the cabinet the day before, that was one of the 3 sites that they had earmarked, and they were going to do it on South Bank. And I walked in to the governor, and I went up and saw the governor with a piece of paper that said, "Please, the cabinet has approved for the Brisbane Exposition South Bank Redevelopment Authority to resume the whole of South Bank. 92 properties, not pay or negotiate, just resume it." And the governor signed the declaration, and I went out and announced that the Premier said he wouldn't do it with me, and so I had to go out and announce to the world that Expo was going to be held on South Bank. And we then spent the next 6 months negotiating with 96 landowners, and settled in 93 of them within budget, and 3 went to court, and we won those 3. I just have been very lucky. But Expo was, there's an exposition board in Paris that controls everything you do, technically. It's the Bureau of International Expositions, and they inspect you and so forth. We technically found all the loopholes, and it didn't break any laws, but we found all the loopholes that allowed us to do it our way for Queensland, and it came off. We were very lucky, and it gave me, I got a lot of publicity, but I had a wonderful team of 8 people answering to me, who one of whom was my darling wife, but who just worked night and day. And but you could not do an expo today on a site like that. First of all, you'd never get the site. You'd have every protest going on, every law court stopping you. And secondly, we wouldn't start any construction till we did negotiate a union deal. And you'd never get a union deal with 19 unions as easily or as quickly as we were able to do it in the environment, go belting the unions. And, you know, but there were some basic things that allowed us to be able to build a site, appoint the staff, you know, and long as we lived within budget. And we took a big risk because we expended something like 300 million and got a cent back by the time we opened, technically, but we made a minor profit. And if you took into, if the government wouldn't have sold the land, kept the land for South Bank, and we would have sold it for private enterprise, we would have made another $300 million. So it was a great success in every sense. And whilst I get enormous credit for it, I think I was just an enthusiast and somebody who could get through problems much quicker, because we wouldn't have Expo open today, I don't think, if we would have had to have the strikes and all those things. And I saw, and I say this quite humbly, I saw the benefit of it being for Brisbane, and I think it did, you know, but I demanded the powers of a tycoon, because you know, you couldn't drink outdoors or eat outdoors in those days, and so we just brought in a health rule and said that, the Director General of Health tried to stop me, and you know, they all felt, but I understood that was my job to get it, so we, you know, had outdoor eating and drinking, and we thought that always had an enclosed area, and we, so it was, and I had a wonderful team of 8 people, one of whom was my darling, as I mentioned, but whose loyalty never shed 1 inch, as they say, and secondly, who I never did anything without dropping it past them. So it was a total team effort, and if we were going to take on the unions, as we did, and not because we wanted to take the union on, but we just couldn't afford to have a strike in the building of but no, it was the experience of a lifetime, and there won't be another Expo in Australia for another 100 years, and to have had that privilege and pleasure is wonderful, and I think that it's done something for the city and in the long term, and I hope I'm forgotten as a person, but I think people will talk about Expo for another 50 years.